Hmm. Hmm. Good morning to all of you. Can you hear me? Good afternoon, actually. It's not a good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, you are audible, sir.
Okay, very nice. Thank you. Uh, I have already got one uh, query from, I think, Subhi Goyal. She is asking, good afternoon, sir. Could you please tell us which all chapters we need to prepare for the assignment one? For the assignment one, on the LMS, we have scheduled two assignment one and assignment two. In the assignment one, you will get the question from chapter 1 to 7 that have already been covered, right? So chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6, and chapter 7. You will get from these 7 chapters, you will get the question in the assignment one. And let me tell you, assignment one is having 30 questions. Each question is having the weightage of 5. uh, if you will attempt all the questions from the uh, chapter 1 to 7 in the assignment 1, you will score 15 marks. And again, if you will attempt the assignment 2 carries the question from chapter number 8 to 14. So again, 30 questions and you will get 15 marks. So total assignment is having 30 marks and it is divided into two parts: 15 marks assignment 1, 15 marks assignment 2. So the first part of the curriculum from chapter 1 to 7 we have already covered and attempt your assignment 1. We have already covered the chapter 8, chapter 9, and today we are going to cover chapter 10. Let me tell you, we have already published the agenda for today's session, session 10. And here we are going to cover, as you can see on the screen, ANOVA, a test of analysis of the variance. The power, I have already shared you a Padlet link, and on the LMS also the unit 10 PowerPoint is available. Book is already there with you in your hand, and on the Padlet we share Padlet link is there on your Q&A box. All of you please go to the Q&A box and you find the link. Click the link. There you will get the PPT also, and the quiz also, which you have to attempt after completing this 1 hour session today, session 10. So today we are going to start ANOVA. So let's begin the discussion with ANOVA. Be ready. I'm taking you to the PowerPoint slide. All of, I think all of you can see the PowerPoint slide. I am just making it full screen so that we can write something on this. Now all of you can see the screen. I don't know whether I am 1 minute. I think okay. So Please be with us. Today you are going to learn ANOVA is your unit 10 in your book. All of you can open your SLM and you will find ANOVA unit 10. ANOVA, the full form is analysis of variance. Let me share you what is the ANOVA test. Before starting the discussion about the ANOVA test, you just read the chapter unit 8, unit 9. These two chapters, all of you please recall. These two chapters is pertaining to hypothesis testing. As I told in the beginning, if you have any business, what you have done is you have a business problem, like what is the market potential of washing machine in the NCR region. So this is your business problem. This is a business question, and it has two hypotheses. Either the market potential is neither low nor high, is the null hypothesis H0, and the market potential is very high, is the alternate hypothesis H1, and market potential is very low, is the alternate hypothesis H2. And in this, you are collecting one sort of data. You are asking from the individual that are you interested in purchasing the washing machine? So you have one sample of data. One sample. Are you interested in purchasing the washing machine? Yes or no? So you are playing with one sample data. And if you are playing with a one sample data, you are applying Z test or T test, and that you have learned in the unit 8. Now I told in the unit 9, if you are going to play with a two sample of data, means for example, if I am going to compare the mileage, as you recall the session 9, mileage of car with the mileage of truck. In that case, you are framing the null hypothesis that the population mean mileage of car is equal to population mean mileage of truck, and the alternate hypothesis is population mean mileage of car is not equal to, we can write like this, the mean mileage of truck. So here you have to collect the mileage of the truck. Here you have to collect the mileage of the car, and then you have to compare. And you have already learned in the unit 9, as I explained in detail, that you can use the pooled variance t-test once the variance is same, pair t-test, z-test, and f-test to compare, and we have given a name two sample test. All of you have already learned, and you got a lot of time before Diwali to finish up to section 9, unit 9. Today, I am going to talk about a description wherein suppose you have more than two samples. Suppose if I will tell you to compare the mileage of car, truck, and bus also. So up to two sample, unit 9, you have t-test, you have z-test, you have pair t-test, you have variance, pooled variance t-test, that and f-test you can apply and test it. What about once you have more than two sample and you want to compare? Say for example, if you want to compare the mileage of car, truck, and bus, in that case, which test we have to use? If our sample is more than 2, the test name is ANOVA, analysis of variance test. Just remember the two mean t-test. Mu1 is equal to mu2, as we have already done it. For example, a salesman in a car sales wants to find the difference between two types of car in terms of mileage. Let us take it, and we are going to learn ANOVA. Let us take the two type of car in terms of the mileage. I'm just recalling your unit 9. So what you have done, a mid-size vehicle and a sports utility vehicle. If you want to compare these two, their mileage, then what you have to do, you have to collect the collect the sample. The salesman took an independent sample from each population of the car. Suppose, for example, mid-size car, I took 28 car. I collected mid-size 28 car. I asked what is the mileage. So you must have got 1 to 28 cars and their mileage you have to note down. And suppose first car mileage is say 25 miles per mpg, and say like that you have 30 miles per mpg and this is the mileage. Then what you have to do, you have to add all summation xi and divide by 28. Divide by 28 and you will get, suppose you got 27.101 is the mileage. Means suppose here your sample mean x1 for x mid-size, x bar mid-size is 27.101 mile per liter. Let us try to understand like this. Similarly, I have taken this is one sample and a second sample is SUV, and 26 samples I have collected. My N is 26. I took the data of the mileage, how many in 1 liter, how many kilometer your car is traveling. Some told 21, some told 22. Like that, you collected 26 data. You added it and divided by 26. You got the x bar for the SUV, and that is 20.423 mile per liter. And similarly, you calculated the S1. S1 means samples standard deviation of mid-size vehicle and sample standard deviation of the SUV. Am I clear? So these things you calculated using Excel, and here because you have a null hypothesis that the mu mid-size is equal to mu SUV and mu mid-size is not equal to mu of SUV. That if you want to prove, then you have to apply the pooled variance t-test, and you can find at the degree of freedom is 28 plus 26 minus 2 degree of freedom. What is the t calculated value, tabular value? What is the t tab calculated value? And accordingly you can find out. So if a two mean t-test were done on this data set, you can get t calculated is equal to 8.15. That we have already learned. But now, today, what you are going to learn is ANOVA. What if the salesman two sample test you have already learned in the unit 9. Then what if the salesman wanted to compare another type of car like pickup truck you are taking it? Am I with you, friends? In addition to SUV and the mid-size vehicle. So here you cannot use the two mean t-test, or you can simply say that two sample test what you have learned in the unit 9. Here you have to apply another type of test because you are going to compare not with the two sample, you are going to play with the three sample pickup truck as well as with the SUV data and a mid-size vehicle. So what I have done here is I am already having a mid-size data in this case, like 28, their mean and their standard deviation. All of you are matured enough to understand how we got this data, 26 size, mid-size, and what is my an SUV 26, and their mean is 20.423, and the standard deviation is this. S1, S2, and S3 standard deviation of, and now we added one more. You have to compare mid-size, SUV, and pickup. So I have taken 8 pickup trucks. Their mileage I measured and then I added and divided by 8. I got the average of the pickup truck's mileage, 23.125 miles per liter. And their standard deviation I calculated 22.588. Now here is the situation. This is an example of when we could use the ANOVA test. ANOVA test when you are going to compare more than 2 sample, to 3 sample, 4 sample, 5 sample. If you have n number of sample, if you want to compare, you have to use the ANOVA test. So here you are going to apply the ANOVA test. This is an example of when we would use the ANOVA test, and that is your unit 10 talks about. In a 2 mean t-test, you see in a unit 9 if the difference between the 2 sample mean is significant or not. Mu mid size is equal to mu SUB or not. The ANOVA is used to compare the multiple means and see if the difference between multiple same mean is significant or not. Means here you are going to compare mu1 is equal to mu2 is equal to mu3 is equal to so on so or mu n or not. That is the meaning. So difference between multiple sample mean is significant or not. And therefore, so what is the if somebody will ask you what is the difference between 2 mean t-test and the ANOVA, in the 2 mean t-test you can compare the 2 sample means only. In the ANOVA you can compare multiple means and see if the difference between the multiple sample mean is significant or not. Friend, let's compare the mean. Now I'm not going to, I'm straight away coming to my problem, which you are learning in ANOVA. Straight away, all of you please come. ANOVA test for hypothesis. My problem was I wanted to compare all the means are equal. This is your null hypothesis, because here you have to compare mu1 is equal to mu2 is equal to mu3 and not all the means are equal. That is the alternate hypothesis. In our example, for our example, I have just converted my null hypothesis is population mean mileage of mid-size vehicle is equal to population mean mileage of the SUV vehicle is equal to the population mean mileage of a pickup vehicle. This is your null hypothesis. Am I clear? Now what is the alternate hypothesis? The mean mileage of mid-size. This is the null hypothesis. Mean mileage of mid-size vehicle, sports utility vehicle and pickup truck are equal. So here, because your problem, your hypothesis itself is telling that you are going to compare 3 different mean, therefore you are going to use the ANOVA test. Yeah, an alternate is not all the mean mileage of mid-size vehicle, a sports utility vehicle and pickup trucks are equal. We are giving you you are learning the ANOVA chapter, this case study. Am I clear? Now all of you have already learned F test is there in unit 9, but I left beforehand because we are going to cover again. F test is F statistics. As you have seen in the unit 9, is used for comparing the variance of the 2 population. But here F statistics, like any other test, the ANOVA test has its own test statistics, and the name of this statistics is called F statistics. ANOVA test, the statistics name of the ANOVA test is F statistics. The statistics for ANOVA is called F statistics, which we get from the F test of the unit 9. As you have, F test is for comparing 2 variance. Let us try to understand. Same manner is there, but the name is different. It's not F test, it's a F statistics, ANOVA. Here in the F statistics, please note down all of you. Certain important things, certain important consideration is there to apply the F statistics. What are the certain important consideration we have to have? we have to know the number of samples. Now I wanted to know how many samples are there in our case. All of you can say, tell me. Number of samples are 3, mid-size, SUV and pickup. So my number of sample is known to us, 3. What is the sample size? All of you are knowing sample size for mid-size is 26, 28. Sample size for pickup is sample size for SUV is 26 and sample size for pickup is 8. So this is also known. Mean of X1, X2, mean mileage of mid-size, mean mileage of pickup, mean mileage of SUV is known to you. So this is also known in our case. This is also known in our case. This is also known, and standard deviation is also known. So all 4 things are known. So this is the first consideration of F statistics. When we have to apply the F statistics, only when the number of samples is given in our problem, sample size is known in our problem, given in our problem, sample mean, I am talking about sample mean is known, standard deviation of the samples are known. Now we can apply the F statistics. If these things are available, with you, you can apply. And I think all 4 things are available in our problem. So we can apply the F statistics. This is a formula for F statistics. All of you, please note down this formula. Please note down, all of you. F statistics determine, because it is F test is used for comparing the variation between the 2 sample mean, it's significant or not. So F statistics determine if the variation between the 2 sample mean is significant or not. And the F stat formula is ratio of the variation among the sample means. Please note down. Please note down, all of you. I'm telling you time and again, this is a very important thing. Please note down. For the ANOVA, if you will read this case, understand this case, and the way I am explaining you, understand it, ANOVA is not so difficult. Variation among sample means is the numerator, and the variation among the individual in each samples is the denominator in the F statistics. F stat is equal to variation among the sample mean divided by variation among the individual in each samples. In terms of quantity, I'm just going to explain you how you have to write it. This is the way we can write the formula. Please note down, all of you. All of you, please note down this formula. Written as a formula for the F statistics. F stat is equal to, I think all of you can understand. First is the variation of the among the samples. And inside the sample, here I am dividing. I minus 1 is, this part is the numerator. And how we have calculated the numerator? We have just added summation of Ni. All the Ni I have taken. Ni x bar, x1 bar minus x bar. I am telling, what is x bar? I am telling you here. Xi upon x bar whole square divided by I minus 1. All of you, please note down. This is your numerator. Here x bar is the sum of all xi bar, means mid-size average plus all xi bar divided by I. Am I clear? How many xi bar divided by I is your x bar? Here I have taken. Am I clear? Means if you have the x mid-size average plus average of SUV plus average of pickup truck, sum it and divide it by, because 3 samples is there, divide by 3. So whatever you will get, that is your grand average mileage. That is x bar. So find out the grand average mileage and then take the difference between the average mileage of each value minus 1 whole square, because it is a variance you are calculating. So this is the this is your numerator. and denominator, please all of you, please note down denominator. Very simple. I'm giving you a very simple formula to write F statistics. Summation of, please note down, summation, here is the addition of, all you are adding, summation of Ni, all the sample size number, minus 1, add all, and SI square. SI square means standard deviations square. Whatever is there, all the, because you have 3, so 3 N1 plus minus 1, S1 square plus N2 minus 1, S2 square, like that you have to add it and divide it by capital N minus I. What is this capital N? Capital N is the sum of all the sample size, N1 plus summation of Ni I can write, or you can write N1 plus N2 plus N3, whatever is there that you have to add. In our case, it is 28 plus 26 plus 8. And I is 3 because 3 samples are there that you have to divide it. This is the formula for F statistics. I think all of you please note down. Whatever I have written by hand, that is very easy to remember. Please note down the way I have written it by hand. Variance among the sample and variance within the sample. The ratio of the variance among the sample and the ratio of the variance within the sample is called F statistics, that we have calculated here. We can write. Now I am going to solve the problem. Same problem what you have learned earlier. Same my case. Coming to my case, I know my sample size, as you have already learned the formula. What is the formula? Summation of Ni into Xi bar minus X bar whole square divided by I minus 1. Am I clear? This is your numerator and denominator is summation Ni minus 1 Si square divided by capital N minus I. So that I have done here. In my case, I have how many I? I have 3 I. So I'm N mid size, Ni means N mid size, X bar of mid size minus here X bar is the x1 plus x2 plus all the addition you have taken and divided by I, so that you have got it. So N SUB X SUB minus X grand bar whole square, N pickup X grand bar pickup minus X grand bar whole square divided by I minus 1. Am I clear? So now what is the, now I have just sub and denominator I have written N mid size minus 1 standard deviation of mid size whole square plus N SUB minus 1 because summation sign is here. So S SUB whole square plus N pickup minus 1 S pickup whole square. Variance divided by capital N minus I. Now I am substituting the value from my case. You know, we have already calculated the, what is my N mid size? 28. What is my N SUB? 26. That also I substituted here. Am I clear? What is the pickup sample size? 8. That I substituted here in this formula. Then you have already calculated the average of mid size, average mileage of SUB, average mileage of pickup, that I have put in this formula. And then I added 27.1 plus 20.423 plus 23.125 and divided by 3, that is grand average, and which is 23.786. That I subtracted and taken the whole square. Here also I subtracted 23.786, taken the whole square. Here also I subtracted 23.786 and taken the whole square and divided by I minus 1 means I minus my 3 minus 1. Am I clear? I think all of you can understand. Please try to understand it. Just I substituted the value which from our case. And then we found the numerator here. Summation of N minus means 28 minus 1, and this is your standard deviation of mid size whole square. Pickup 26 minus 1, their standard deviation whole square, plus pick up sample size minus 1 and their standard deviation whole square, and then capital N minus I. Capital N means 28 plus 26 plus 8. How much is this? Please do, all of you. By 62 minus 3. Am I clear? So if you calculate this, you will get 40.053. So what is my F calculated or F statistical values? 40.053. This is the calculated value of F. Now we have to find out the tabular value of F. Let me try to find out the tabular value of F. So in our case, you see I minus 1 is 1 degree of freedom, and another degree of freedom is n minus I, 62 minus 3. So my degree of freedom in the case of ANOVA test has a 2 degree of freedom, n minus I and I minus 1. So what is my degree of freedom in our sample? In our case, what is the degree of freedom? Please tell me. What is my degree of freedom? We have already calculated F statistics 40.05, and my degree of freedom, please see in our example, what is my degree of freedom? What is my degree of freedom? Please calculate the degree of freedom. This is the things I am leaving to you. N minus I means 62 minus 3. Am I clear? So how much is the degree of freedom here? Please tell me. 62 minus 3. 59. Am I correct? Some sample distribution which has an, what is the degree of freedom? Number group 1. So here, what is the degree of freedom here? 3 minus 1 means 2. So our degree of freedom is 2,59. Please note down this. And now we have to see what is the value of F tabular. Very simple, all of you can see now. Here is the F distribution. Now we can find out the F tabular, and F statistical value have already got 40.05 something. Am I clear? So I will find out the F tabular value and let us try to compare. How we will see the F tabular value? We have the option. We have the F distribution table. All of you please go to the Google and open F distribution table. I'm just taking you, I'm just discarding you here. And all of you open the Google. Can you see, all of you? I'm just trying to share you the machine and then I will show you the Google. I'm just stop sharing and I'm sharing my machine now. I think all of you can see my machine. One minute. Please open the Google now, all of you. Please open the Google or any Explorer, not the Google only. You can open any Explorer. I opened the Google in front of you because the capability of search the Google is very high. Therefore, I am just suggesting you to open the Google, and here you write F distribution. All of you please write down F distribution. F distribution table. Can you see all of you? Please note down. You have the F distribution table. Any one link you any of this link you click it. I am just clicking one link. I know my F1, DF1 is 2. All of you know DF1 and DF2. DF1 is means upper numerator's degree of freedom. What is means numerator degree of freedom means I minus 1. So what is my I minus 1? I'm 2. Am I clear? So my numerator degree of freedom is 2. I have already underlined here. Numerator degree of freedom is 2. And denominator degree of freedom is 59, 62 minus 3. So I'm going into DF2 in the row wise. So 59, I don't have 59 here. So after 40 straight away you have 60. So 59 is just near to 60. Am I right? So I can take the 60 and at the intersection of 60, 2, the value of F is 2.39325. Can you see? All of you can see here at 95% confidence level, the value of F tabular value is 2.39325. Can you see all of you? Here is something very important for all of you written in this table itself. The F distribution is a right skewed distribution used most commonly in ANOVA. When referencing the F distribution, the numerator degree of freedom are always given first, as switching the order of degree of freedom changes the distribution. That is 10, 12 does not equal to 12, 10. For the F table below, the row represents the denominator degree of freedom. That's why I have taken denominator degree of freedom is 59. Row represents the denominator degree of freedom and the columns represents the numerator degree of freedom. The right tail area is given in the name of the table. For example, to determine the 0.05 critical value of F distribution with 10 and 12 degree of freedom, look in the table column 10 and row 12 of F table, and you will get this. So we can understand from here that my F value is 2.39325. How we have got it? So you learned how to see the F distribution table. Now coming back, because the machine is shared with you, so I'm just coming. I have already came back to my your F value. Here is F value is 40.05, and this is your calculated value. All of you see here. I am coming back. All of you can see now. Yes, can you see all of you? Yeah. So here is your 2. F tabular value is 2.395 something, and your calculated F value is 40.05. So if you see this 40.05, so are you inside near to 2.395? You are not close to 2.395. You are very far away from 2.395. So what you will conclude? You will reject the null hypothesis or accept the null hypothesis. Because my F calculated tabular value the F calculated value is very high in compared to the F tabular value. Therefore, we are rejecting the null hypothesis. And what is your null hypothesis? Mid-size, SUV and pickup is having the same mileage. That you are rejecting. What is the alternate hypothesis? All three are having the different mileage in the population. That you are accept. Alternate hypothesis is accepted. So you learned this ANOVA test using how manually you can calculate the ANOVA test. These are the following conditions in the process of applying the ANOVA test have to be fulfilled. As useful as the ANOVA test is, we can only use if the number of conditions are met. We must take an independent samples from each population that we sample, as I have already done in our case. All population have the same standard deviation. All the population must be normally distributed. These are the conditions have to fulfill. So salesman had originally taken the independent SRS in our case. The second condition is fulfilled since no sample has more than twice the standard deviation of any other. If you refer the case, in our case, the test, the third condition, whether the population being sampled are normally set, we must look at the histogram of each samples. So we have plotted the samples, whatever we calculated their sample histogram using Excel, and we got it, and it looks like an so all the histograms of the sample mileage appears to be relatively normally set. So we this therefore all the conditions are fulfilled and we have concluded it. Now try a problem. Now we have already done ANOVA using manually how we can apply, when we have to apply, and what are the conditions are there. So we have learned in the unit 10 what is ANOVA test, when we have to apply the ANOVA test using this case study, and what is the F statistical formula for calculating the ANOVA test, and how to calculate the F statistics, and then how to find out the F tabular value and compare it and accept the null hypothesis or reject the hypothesis, and what are the various conditions required to apply the ANOVA test. That also we have discussed. Now the second part of the journey is same ANOVA test we can do with the help of Excel, and that I am going to demonstrate now. So all of you are ready with another problem. In one case you have already seen how we have compared the mid-size vehicle, SUV and pickup truck, and finally we rejected the null hypothesis and concluded that the mid-size vehicle mean mileage and pickup mean mileage and SUV mean mileage are not same. Now coming to the next problem, try a problem. So I'm going to try this problem with the help of an Excel. All of you please open Excel along with me. Excel is open here. I think all of you can see now. I think it has gone to you. All of you see now. Problem is related to a business problem. One problem is all of you think you are working as a sales manager, general manager sales in the Airtel. All of you think now. All of you think that all of you are working as a general manager sales in the Airtel, and your responsibility is to see the sales outlet in the NCR region. NCR means Delhi, Ghaziabad, Faridabad, Sonipat, Gurgaon, all these places. What we have seen once you joined in the Airtel as a general manager, you have seen some of the sales outlet are having the same size, same dimension, and more or less same type of things was there. So different type of sales counter is there of this Aircel sales counter. So we have 4 different type of sales counter we have observed in our NCR region. And you can see the 4 type of expert type of sales counter, chaos type of sales counter. All of you please note down 4 type of sales counter I have written. For expert type of sales counter, chaos type of sales counter, front type of sales counter. Some stores is having a expert type of sales counter, some store is having a chaos type of sales counter, some store is having a front type of sales counter, and some store is having an agile type of sales counter. Am I clear to all of you? Now what I as a sales manager, general manager sales, what you want to see whether the size of the stores, the first condition is different types of sales counter, right? And size of the store is same. This is the second condition fulfilled. Means standard deviation are absolutely same, normally distributed. So I wanted to, my business problem is expert counter is costing little bit different than a chaos, than a front, or than an agile. So all are having a different costing to make the counters. So I just wanted to check whether whether the expense of making different set of counter is really good thing or bad thing. Is this way of making different counter is good or bad in the NCR region? Shall we go ahead with the with this type of thing, or we have to make a one type of counter? So for that purpose, what you did is you have collected a 60 days sales data that I have taken in this case, right? You collected a 60 days sales data. Am I clear? 60 days sales data from 5 different stores, 5 different store, front type stores, chaos type store, and expert type store, and agile type of store. So you visited how many type stores? 25 stores, 5 of agile, 5 of front, 5 of chaos, and 5 of expert. Am I clear? And you collected the secondary data. You ask that you tell me 60, give me the sales data of 60 days. So first store, which was agile, given a sales data of 60 days, and it is sales in $1,000. I have already taken here, you can see, and I noted down here. Am I clear? So I am having the 5 different samples, all the 5 samples of agile, 5 samples of front, 5 sample of chaos, 5 sample of expert. Am I with you, friends? And you are looking to understand whether the different type of sales counter is effective or ineffective. If effective, we will go ahead with the same way, or otherwise we will look into a different method. So what I am going to make, first of all, I am going to make the null hypothesis. What is my null hypothesis? The sales generated from agile, population mean of the sales generated from agile is equal to the population mean of the sales generated from the front is equal to the population mean. I am talking from the 5, but I am going to prove for whole population. Are you getting me? That is the objective here, to apply, do the hypothesis testing. We know that out of 5 this condition is there, but what about the thousands of chaos, thousands of front, thousands of agile counters, thousands of expert counter? For that I am making the hypothesis mu A agile population sales data, front data, and chaos data, and the expert data mu expert is same. This is your null hypothesis. Am I clear? And the alternate is what? Alternate is these all are not same. The things we have to prove. Am I clear? So here how many samples are there? How many group of samples are there? Sample is 5, 5, 5 in each category. But how many I is there? What is the value of I? We will see. I is 1 agile, front, chaos, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have 4 samples. 4 type of samples. 4 type of samples are there. All of a different population, right? With different variants. But the only problem is you cannot apply the t-test, 2 sample test or 1 sample test because you have 4 sample, more than 2 sample. So which test we have to apply here? Who will say? Which test we have to apply here? ANOVA. Am I clear? Because you have more than 2. And one more thing, in the ANOVA, how many factors you are going to check? 1 factor is there or 2 factor is there? You are going to check only 1 factor. Different type of sales factor sales counters you considered in the. So we have 1 factor, different type of sales counter. We have 60 days sales data, and then we are going to compare. Now all of you are very hard enough. All of you are already knowing how to do it. Please click the file. What I think all of you have already knowing how to add the data analysis button. We have already explained in the previous class, so many classes. So please check whether data analysis is there in my Excel or not. So I am clicking the data button here. All of you please click the click the data. My machine, let me check, is not working. Oh yes. Can you see all of you data? I'm just clicking the data. In this data, you have a data analysis. If you don't have, I have already explained you how to add the data analysis button in the previous classes. I will explain you once again also. You can just click the file button. You go to option. Those who are new today, in the option you have add-ins. Click add-ins. And in the add-in on the bottom, manage Excel add-in is there. Please go analysis tool pack, select it and press OK. And click the data button here. Click the data. In the analyze group, you have the data analysis. Click the data analysis here. All of you. Data analysis. Now you have an analysis tool. Click the analysis, see the analysis tool. On the top, you have on the first itself, ANOVA. How many factors are there in this case? In the beginning, I have already told in this case, you have only 1 factor. What is that factor? The chaos counters, different agile front. So I'm applying ANOVA single factor. I selected. You have ANOVA 2 factor with replication, ANOVA 2 factor without replication. It is not there in your curriculum. Those who will go for an advanced learning of operations or business analytics, those who will opt analytics, there we will explain you. Here in this, in general, you have this. Select the single factor, because in my case also single factor problem is there. So I selected the single factor, I pressed OK. Am I clear? Now you keep the input range. So I am just keeping the input range here. All the input range is this one. This is the total input range I selected, and all of you see here. And then I selected columns, and then a level in the first row, alpha value I have taken 0.05, 5.5% significance level, and new worksheet ply. I'm going to click it here. OK, all of you do at your end. All of you got it. And now because you have learned the ANOVA, so you can easily understand it. What is this all about? This data you can understand, and you can write the finding and conclusion also about your business problem. Let me see. Things are ready. Column 1, agile. Column 2, front. Column 3, chaos. And column 4 is an export. So I have already taken the count. Count means sample size. N1, N2, N3, and N4 all are 5. They are average. X1, X1, X2, X3, X4. All you got it? Understood it? their variance means standard deviation square, S1 square, S2 square, S3 square, and S4 square. All things you got it. Now you apply this. Your formula is what? Summation of x1 minus x grand bar whole square divided by I minus 1. I minus 1 means 4 minus 1 divided by summation ni minus 1 S1 Si square divided by capital N minus I. So by applying this formula, your machine have already calculated for you the between the group your I minus 1, the degree of freedom is 3, and within the group, that is the bottom in the row and column. So 3, 16 you have to see. So 16 why 20 minus I means 4. So 20 minus 4. So your second degree of freedom is 16. So 3, 16. If you will go to the F distribution table and if you will go and see in the 3, 16, third column and 16th row, you will find the value of F critical. What is the F critical value? You will find in the F distribution table 3.23. This 3.2388 is coming from F distribution table. And what is your calculated F? 88.21. 88.21 is very high in compared to F critical. So what we can conclude, you will reject the null hypothesis or accept it. We have to reject the null hypothesis. Variants are entirely different. So cells from the different cells counter are having the different values. So you will continue with the same type of practice or you will stop it because the F is very high. Therefore, experts is generating different revenue. Chaos is generating different set of revenue. Agile is generating different set of revenue, and front is generating different set of revenue. Therefore, we have to continue with the same practice because you are rejecting the null hypothesis. With this, I have just concluded your ANOVA test. Those who are having any doubt, you can write to me on the Padlet. Don't forget, I have already posted the quiz on the Padlet, and if you have any doubt, you can write. Continuously go through, write, practice it, and I request everyone to do this case study. This case study I have taken from your big book itself in the unit 10. Write down, prepare a Excel sheet, write it, and must put it on the Padlet. Those who are putting in the Padlet is well and good, and write the reflection, what you have done. And wherever you have a doubt, please share with me. I am always there with you. Thank you very much. So we have concluded the journey of unit 10, wherein you learned ANOVA test. I am requesting everyone now before closing the discussion today that let me check what is the Q&A from anybody. If you have any doubt, that also I will check. I'm just checking any Q&A box. If you have any things you have written on Q&A. Okay, so Amarjeet Chaurasia, I am just stop sharing here because I have already concluded. Now I'm going to answer few Q&A. Amarjeet Chaurasia is writing for PGEM batch 2. The academic calendar is not available and the timeline of the submission of assignment, registration of exam date and exam schedule is not available. Can you please throw some light on this? Mr. Amarjeet, your question is like this. You are learning business statistics and calendar is already there on the LMS and calendar is already there on the CIS account. And as far as the assignment 1 and assignment 2 of the business statistics is concerned, you go to the LMS there, both the assignment 1 and assignment 2 on the bottom of the day 1, it is there. You can click and attempt it. For more, if you want to know more or anything, you have any doubt, you can reach to our student support. This type of query, they will help you. We will feel happy to answer your queries wherever you have. Now coming to the next questions. Yes, Amarjit Chaurasia, as per the batch 2 schedule, the class are till June 9-20, but the academic calendar is shared based on the batch 1 schedule. So don't worry, you have the option, you can write on Monday on a student care, they will definitely solve your issues, whatever you have. No, don't worry. For name, you are sharing for the attendance purpose. Anything if you have, I think more or less F. Diabolo, Mona Lisa Patro have already calculated. Thank you, Mona Lisa. It means you understood. So looking for everyone, I think all of you can understand. Now do the quiz on Excel also you practice it. Take some real life business problem and practice the testings. That's all. With this, I think time is also 3 p.m. Let me check any Padlet question is there with you. That also I will talk with if the time will permit. Time is there. I am taking your some Padlet questions if it is there or not. I am opening the Padlet and reading it. Any question is there from your side or not? Okay, so okay, so Mona Lisa have shared the reflection in today's class. We studied ANOVA. I'm reading what the Mona Lisa Patro is writing on the ANOVA is used for more than 2 samples. It compare multiple means and see F difference between the multiple sample means is significant. We learned the F stat formula and how to get a value from table and how to arrive on the conclusion on hypothesis. We also learned how to get the F value using Excel. So I think best thing is your friend is writing on the Padlet. I am reading it, what you learned today. So thank you, Mona Lisa, for enlightening all the learners along with me. So thank you to all. We have Nirmal Patel who is writing question number 5. He is facing some problem. Don't worry, you try, and you will win. So this question is not you today only and just now you have to finish it. You carry on and read and try. Once you will not able to understand, finally I am there. But first you try. Please share the Excel files of today's session. I have already requested from some of your friends. They will prepare the Excel file and they will upload it on the Padlet. If not, I will share in this. I will share the Excel file on this Padlet platform. What is the again the Mona Lisa is writing what was the alpha value we assumed for the test. Okay, so for a normal business, Mona Lisa, the alpha value is always 5%, 0.05, and for a Six Sigma business, the alpha value is always 99% is the confidence level, so 0.01. So any business who is claiming Six Sigma for that, you take the alpha value 0.01, and any business who is not claiming anything, you consider the business is a normal business and take 0.05 as an alpha value. Thank you very much. What about the Z and F test pending from last session? Okay, so Z and F test pending from the last session. One of the gentlemen is asking. I requested several times you must write your name here, so that it will be very easy for us to explain, understand your problem. So kindly write your name whenever you write. Don't write like anonymous. No, you are not an anonymous. You are the student of IMT-CDL, right? You don't hide or disguise yourself from your instructor. So definitely, if you are not, you read the SLM, try to understand Z test and F test. F test I have already covered here in the ANOVA. The same F test is there also. Now you read the F test of the unit 9, you will understand it. That's why I kept pending. As far as the Z test is concerned, it is just like the same. Z test is a population proportion test. Read it once. If you are not able to understand, I will clear your doubt in the session 12. Now, before concluding the journey, let me share you. Tomorrow you have a big class. 2 chapters we are going to cover. Unit 11 and Unit 12. Chi-square test and regression analysis. So I request everyone to come with the reading, make one reading, attempt reading chi-square test and regression, and there it will be easy for you to understand. Please read this chapter. Thank you very much. Goodbye. We will meet you tomorrow at 10. So I have just concluded the discussion. Still 31 participants is there. If you have any doubt, you can write on the Q&A. I'm sitting with the Q&A. Any problem if you have. On a Q&A is open. You can write now. Right? Otherwise, I'm just concluding the day. Thank you very much. And before closing the discussion, I'm requesting for the come with the reading of Unit 11 and Unit 12 for the tomorrow class. Thank you.